We have two things I want to cover. I know this is gonna seem like it's gonna seem like it's a little bit of a mini review. It's not. I promise you we are doing new stuff today. You want to write some of these problems down. What we're talking about, we're moving in the second section. So this is 5.2. What we're looking at today is the actual sale of a vehicle. So sale of a vehicle. So it's not that you're selling a car, it's all the stuff you have to deal with as you want to go purchase or things that affect your price. Okay, so it's the actual like how they're going to sell you a car, how you're going to go look for it. We've already talked about the websites you use, like Craigslist, Auto Trader, the dealer's websites. Just go to a lot and drive around and see what cars that you have. Definitely go online. You guys have a lot more resources than there used to be. You just had to drive around until you found a car you like. But the sale of a car. Here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a rebate today versus a trade-in value.
Okay.
Hey, I don't like the talking room. Okay, so rebates versus trade-in values. I'll show you my personal opinions on this. I want to talk about the math that's involved here, just so you know. This is something you do have to worry about. This is something you have to think about when you're going to purchase a car. This is something that affected my wife when we bought a newer car a couple of years ago, which we eventually traded off for something else. But this is something that deals with you. And then the last thing is, I want to talk about, and this is what Dyer was talking about the other day, he was talking about down payments. And this is the part that's kind of a little mini review. We talked about down payments on houses. We've never done it for a car. And I want to show you the math that's involved. So you will probably need a calculator today. Now, if you were one that borrowed a calculator from me from the other day, I'm missing one. I need one back. I don't know which class has it. I'm kind of warning each class today. I am missing one calculator. Eventually, if I don't get them back, we'll eventually not have calculators in here. We'll do everything by hand still. So that's kind of the rule. I pull that off and then use my calculators to make their way back. All right. But these are my three things today. I got three major bullets. Once we're through the major bullets, then you'll have the rest of class day where you can work on your assignment, the worksheet, the handout thing that I gave you yesterday. This weekend, I'm going to be putting in a lot of people turn in missing scores, late work, whatnot. I'm going to be entering those scores this weekend. The minute you see your this page, this worksheet page, not the worksheet page, the last one, when we do the last one, it was page 105, 103. When you see that stuff in there, you know your grade is completely up to date. That's the last one I had to plug in, it was that one. All right, but let's talk about rebates and down payments and whatnot. Okay, what a rebate is. It is cash back or basically a discount on your car. Okay, so it affects your final sale price. This is something I hinted at yesterday when we were talking about rebates. Is that sometimes dealerships will say, "Hey, this month we're having a $2,500 cash back rebate," or maybe it's like the purchase of new cars you have $500 rebate or $1,500 rebate. What that is, that's an automatic discount on the top of your car. So let's say you're looking at a $18,000 car, and somehow they're saying that this week that, you know, maybe for whatever dealer you're dealing with, they have a $2,500 cash back. Now, what that means that cash comes off the top when you purchase your car. So you're not actually paying $18,000. You're actually paying $15,500. This is what you're actually paying for your car. Now, why that's important? That's a lot of money off. Sometimes they say there's certain dealerships it's kind of a ploy to get you in the door. Sometimes you don't actually get that cash back on the top of the car. What they do is they give it to you in options. So they say, hey, it's a rebate for accessories and options on your car, $2,500. So what they do is you go through that list like you were doing on your homework, where you go to the website, the major websites, you check off options, and the minute your options add up to $2,500, those are all free. So they'll subtract that off the price. So really, you're back to the original price of what it started with before you started clicking options. it's not really free, and you're not really getting this cash back. You're still gonna have to pay $18,000 for the car, but you get a bunch of options that you may not have chosen. This can actually be a deal breaker if you wanna get like a 4-wheel drive car versus 2-wheel. That might be a free option for you now. You just you have to look back and see, okay, what are they offering? Now, the reason I bring this up, and this is my real life example of this. My wife was going in and we were looking at 2 different cars. She wanted a really small car. This is like 3-4 years ago. She wanted a Ford Fiesta. Okay. And they had 2 cars. Number one, they had an older, this is back 2012, it would have been, no, not 2012, 2014. All right, so in the year 2014, we were looking at a 2012 car versus a brand new technically they called it a 2015, okay? Because the newer cars always come out in the year before. So like this year they have the 2019s on the lots. Okay, even though it's 2018. So we're looking at 2 different cars. Here's the kicker, okay? This price of this car, let's say this was I think it was $13,500 car. Had 30,000 miles on it. It was somewhat newer back in 2014. So we're kind of looking at it. We like the look of it. It was a hatchback. It kind of checked all of her boxes she wanted. Had heated seats, whatnot. 2015, they are offering a $2,700 cashback. Okay, now the difference here. The car was $16,000. The car brand new was $16,000. That's the price. That's the new car. Like 2015 back in 2014 was a $16,000 car. So if you take $16,000, you take away your $2,700 cash back, the car was actually $13,300. Do you see why it's actually more prudent to go with the rebate? We got a brand new car, 0 miles. Actually, it had 6 miles from factory on it. No one ever test drove it. It was just delivered that morning. We already saw pictures of it. We decided to go with that car versus the older car that had 30,000 miles on it because it was actually cheaper. Now you're thinking, Ward, why did they even do that? For that type of car, I know this seems really weird. Toyotas do this. Fords, like the smaller cars, used to do this. Now Ford doesn't sell cars anymore. Chevys do this. When you have one of those really economical cars, like a Prius or a Ford Fiesta or a Ford Focus, the value actually goes up. They actually appreciate in value. They actually go up in value for like the first year or 2. They're actually worth more than what you bought it for. So you're actually seeing it here. This is a brand new car, but the older model was more expensive. Now there was a couple options that were different, right? There was no heated seats on this one. The newer car didn't have heated seats, and it wasn't a hatchback. It was just like a little sedan looking car, okay? That wasn't a deal breaker. We went with the new car. It had warranty, it had everything else, and it was still cheaper than buying a used car, which I know is very rare in this world that you buy a brand new car that's cheaper than an older car. And it was the same model, same type. It was just the years were different. Okay, this is something you have to think about. That totally changed my mind. I didn't even think that was possible until I saw the $2,700 when we went and talked to them, and they just cut us that deal. And I was like, all right, well, that's a deal breaker. Like you have to go with a new car because there's no problems with it. You on a used car, you have no idea what the person ahead of you did to it. You don't know if it was a kid, if they were smoking, if they got in a wreck and they hit it or they fixed it. You don't know what they did to the brakes. You don't know like the little things. Maybe they never changed the oil in the car ever. Like you don't know that. So that's something you got to think about. And plus on a new car, you have brand new tires. That's kind of sweet. So there's like little deal things you got to be worrying about. Now, don't get me wrong. Cashback is awesome. Rebates are awesome. I was talking the other day, I was looking at a Tesla Model 3. That was a car I was looking at. I know I can't afford it right now, but I was looking at it because the federal government offers you a $7,500 cashback rebate when you buy that car. That's a $3,000 or $30,000 car. They give you $7,500 cash right off the top on tax day. So if I bought that car in December, January I fill my taxes, I have $7,500 check coming my way, tax day. because they give it to you on taxes. That's huge. That just took a huge chunk out of the price of that car. Like, it's massive. Well, that might bring it back down to a reasonable level where I can afford it then. That's something I thought about. Yeah, I didn't go with it because there's lots of other things that had to happen. I had to have like the battery charger installed in my garage, which I don't even know if I can do that. So there's little things, but these are things you have to compare. You have to look at discounts on like an older car versus the newer car. Now, here's something else you have to think about. On a newer car, the manufacturer retail price, like what the website says, like, oh, this truck is $30,000. It's really not $30,000. That's a recommended manufacturer sales price, right? It could be less. You could actually see a brand new car on the lot. Online it says it's a $30,000 car, but on the lot it's $25,000 because they just need to sell it. They don't know what the price is actually going to go for yet because it's brand new. So you can get a little wiggle room. On older cars, you can always haggle. You can talk to them about like, hey, I'm not going to pay you 13. I'll give you maybe 12.9 or maybe 12.5. Kick $1,000 off because you don't like the tires, you don't like the wheels, maybe the interior's got some imperfections in it. And if they don't take it, it's not a big deal. You can walk. You don't have to buy it. Sometimes it's fine to do that. You want to find the right car at the right price for you. So they'll wiggle. They'll have a little wiggle room. But this is a big deal. Like some people don't even think about that. It's in our case, it was cheaper buying new than used. That's stupid. That doesn't happen very often. Now, one of the words I just talked about is called in depreciation and appreciation. Depreciation happens to everybody. Unless you bought a very exotic or rare muscle car or hyper car or supercar. Like, cars go down in value. The more miles you put on it, it goes down quick. So the idea is that, you bought this car at $18,000, it won't be worth that when you leave the lot. It'll be worth significantly less than that. I'm seeing that right now in my own car. That's what I'm worried about right now, is that my car depreciates faster than what I'm making payments on it. So that's something I had to think about, like, do I need to trade it in now before that depreciation hits me so hard I can't trade it in anymore? Because I'm making my payments, let's say my payments are $400 a month, and I bought the car at $18,000, that was the agreement price I paid. Well, you subtract $400 for however many payments you made, plus the interest and whatnot. You keep doing that over and over and over, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is, after the first year, like on a new car, you see the biggest depreciation ever. They always tell you not to buy a brand new car, unless it's a certain model, like a Ford Fiesta or a Prius. They actually go up in value, which is stupid. But in the first year of owning a car, you lose almost half the value of the car. The only cars I think in the US right now that appreciate, other than these, over like a year or two, like these really economical cars, is a Jeep Wrangler. The Jeeps, they go up in value or they hold really close to what you bought it at. That's the only car in the US somehow that can do that. Trucks do okay. They depreciate slower than a car. But to give you an idea, 2013, I bought my Ford Fusion outside. I bought it at $18,000, that's what I paid. Right now, no joke, I bought it at $18,000. This was back in 2013. It's 2018, so I'm almost paid off my car. It's only worth $7,500. Ouch. It's 11 grand off, roughly. That's a tough hit. That's tough to see that, okay? Because the depreciation goes, eventually it stables off. Because no one wants a car. They want SUVs, they want trucks, they want a really economical car. That's something you have to think about. Your car is going to be worth less than what it is right now. You are automatically taking that loss, unless you buy a certain car. That's why I always tell people, like, you're going to buy a car, there's certain options you want to spec. Four-wheel drive is the number one. Having low miles is a good thing. Like, it doesn't matter that you have the upgraded infotainment center. It doesn't matter that you have the floor mats. Things that sell cars are, what does the car look like? Does it have new tires? Does it have low mileage? That's what sells a car. Because this depreciation hurts. People see it all the time. I always find it funny when people go out and buy a truck and they put $5 grand wheels and tires on it. They jack it up and they put it. The wheels are worth more than the truck after about a year or two. So what you do is you take the wheels off, you sell the wheels separately, and then you sell the truck separately. You do it because you'll make more money in the long run, which is silly. Okay, now, we talked about cashback rebates. The one thing I want you to see, what affects you, so you decide on the car, you got your cash back, you're buying a $15,000 car. I want to do the numbers right now for you. What happens when you put a down payment, and will that actually save you money? That's what I want to talk about. Because it will, buying a house, you saw me do the numbers in front of you. If you put a down payment on a house, like I put a $16,000 down payment on my home when I first bought it, that'll save me 60 grand after 30 years. That's a huge investment up front, I know. But on a car, most people don't do that. I think Mr. Dyer talked about he put about 500, I think he said, 600. He didn't put a lot, but that might save him money in the long run over how many payments he has to make. So here's what I want to talk about. So let's go through this example. I'm going to use the $15,000 car, 15.5. Okay, and we'll do it for a 4% interest for 5 years. Okay, we'll do it for that's the stuff we're doing in the homework, right? So 15.5, that's the agreement price you paid for the home, for the car. So this is the formula we're using on that worksheet. We talked about this the last couple days in here. So we're taking that, we're going to take it times the interest rate. Our interest rate was 4.5%, so it's 0.045. We have to do that for every problem in that worksheet in the homework. We're going for 5 years. Now, here's what I want to show you. I'm going to do this price first, talk about monthly payments, how much you're paying total. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same problem, but I'm going to do it for if you put a down payment on the car. Down payment. Now, this will not be that exaggerated number like I did with the house. No joke. Like on a house, it saved me 60 grand over 30 years. We're not going 30 years. We're going 5. It's not going to be that impressive. And that's what really bums people out. So here we go. So $15,500 car. We're going to take that times 0.045. So 15.5, take that times 0.045, take it times 5 years. My interest for this car over 5 years, the extra money I'm paying the bank to take out this loan is this. It's a lot of money, extra. So that's my extra money. So to do this, I'm gonna have to add this price in. So I'm gonna add this price back into my car. So 15.5. I'm gonna add in my 3487.5 back in. So that's 5078981. So that's an $18,000 car after 5 years. That's what I basically paid the bank for it. I'm gonna divide by 60 months because that's 5 years. So 15,500. Divide by 60 months. So if I divide by 60, because that's 5 years worth of payments, it's 12 months for 5 years. I'm actually paying $316.46 per month. So this is what you had to do in your homework. You had to figure out what your total was that you paid and what your monthly payments were, right? That was what we did on every single one of those problems. I want to show you right now what happens when you put a $600 down payment on it. It's not going to be super impressive. It will save you money, but it's not going to save you 60 grand like the house did by putting a $16,000 deposit on it, because we're not going out that many years. And the vehicle is only worth 15, so I'm not going to be saving a ton. All right, so let's do a down payment of $600 off the top of that car. So you take your 15.5, we're going to subtract $600 right off the top, so I'm actually agreeing to pay $14,900. That's what I'm agreeing to pay for the car after I make my down payment. And they show you that on the sheet. We're going to take that 14.9 times 0.045 times 5. Because again, we're doing the same numbers, 5 years still. This is going to be 33 by 2.5. So 3,352.5. We're going to add that back into my total. So 14,900. We're adding in that extra money that we just paid the bank to take out this loan. Notice that number is not as much as before. The number before is 3,400. So 14,900, we're gonna add in the 3352.5. That's an $18,000 car still. Okay, notice. Look at what I have here, right? I put a $600 deposit on my car, right? I put a $600 deposit. The price after 5 years was $18,900. After I did my $600 deposit, it was $18,252. I'm going to subtract those numbers. Now I can figure out the monthly payment. In fact, let's figure out the monthly payment here first. Divide by 60 months. This monthly payment is $304.21. So you're already starting to see I'm saving about $12 a month. Now maybe that means a lot to you. $12, that's another trip to the McDonald's or go get coffee or get gas is $12 extra in gas you put in every month. But here's the difference in price: $18,987.5, and I'm going to subtract the $18,250. Is that 52.5? Over 5 years, this is how much money it saved me. Now, how much money did I put down on the car? 600. So that actually saved me 135 bucks. And you're thinking, what did you do with 135 bucks? That's a lot of money. $600 deposit actually saved me $135 extra. That's gas for maybe a month or two. So in the long run, actually making deposits do make a difference. Not a big difference, but it does make the difference. Does everyone see that now? It's always good to put deposits, big deposits. Bigger the better. I know that's not practical for some people, but it is important. Okay, if you haven't wrote this down, I definitely would. This is a problem that I want you to have for the next problems. The rest of the time you have today, we've got 20 minutes or so. You can work on the worksheet I gave you the other day. So just make sure you're working on that. That is due on Monday. Keep that in mind. That worksheet is due Monday. And I'll go through, for anyone that was gone yesterday that wants to know how to do it again, I'll go through the review. So, okay, so you got your worksheet up. Okay, there's a book summary at the top. You have to get. Katie, wait. When she gets back. Okay, all right. So 5 problems at the top. On those 5 problems, what they're doing is they're giving you an option list on a car. So they're giving you this big box of options. So they have the base price of your car. They have this option list. You have to add these prices to figure out your total. So you have to do that first on those 1 through 5. Once you've done that, then whatever this price is, and after you add in all these options, plus the shipping and handling that's at the bottom, then you have to run it through this. And for all 5 of those problems, including the 3 we had at the bottom, you have to take whatever your total is. Let's say this turned out to be 12,000 after your totals. You add all those options. You have to take that times 0.045 and times 5 to figure out the extra money that you're paying to the bank to take out that loan. You have to add that extra money to the 12,000. So you multiply that, you get some big number. You add that to your 12, the number that you had earlier, and whatever that is, you divide this number by 16 months. Now, why 60? Because you went 5 years. That's 16 months, and because this will give you your monthly payment. I want to know your total and what you get when you divide by 60. You have to do that for all 5. Does that make sense? On the website problem, okay, hold on, I get your question here in a minute. On the website problems at the bottom, you have to go to the major, like Chevy website, Ford website, Dodge. Go to the legit websites. You have to spec the car that I have listed there. So you have to go find that model, build it. Don't uncheck boxes. Just check the options, extra options that I've listed. Once you've got done and you check off those things, look at the top what the price is. Then you go immediately and you go do this stuff again, where you calculate by 0.45 and you figure out your monthly payments. So there's 3 of them. There's 3 you have to do for Chevys, Fords, and the Dodge. So the hardest part is going to it. I have everything listed that you have to check off. Don't uncheck things though. Just click on the extra stuff that you have. Okay? I'll get to you here in a second. Questions? Go to Dodge website, pick the Challenger, and then you gotta go find that exact model that I wanted. I wanted the SRT Demon package. And there's a lot. I think Dodge, like the Challenger, has like 17 different options. So you have to go find the demon at the very bottom. And make sure you're building it. You're not just looking at random pictures on that website.
Never mind.
Yeah, you're done? Yeah, on this worksheet, you can put all this stuff on the back. That's totally fine. If you wanna like staple some paper to it, that's fine. But you can go on the back, make sure your name's on it.
Do you want these green ones? No, okay.
No, you have to pick the one that I wanted. I wanted the SRT Demon. So you go way to the bottom. There's like 20 of them. There's Demon.
What Ford Fiesta do
Yep,
you
SRT
do?
Demon. That's it. So build that one. Now that you're in the build, now check off the options. There's not too many options I have for that one. I think one of them might already be checked. So, because once you click certain packages, they automatically add them.
No, I got it. Oh, you supposed to use the 2018 Ford Fiesta?
Yeah, it's the whatever one they show you on their Ford website. I think there's 2018. I don't think they have 2019 on their website. If they do, it's the same price anyway.
And we get to build your own.
Yep.
Oh, you want to so when I tell hold on. So you do the ST line.
It's Friday.
Yep.
You got LDX?
Hot pepper.
Right, yeah. Which one? How is it? Yeah. Might have to go.
Oh,
Which one should we do? Change, what time y'all?
Devin.
Aye.
Never did either. You like smile like
okay, I can't find it.
like passing together.
Yes,
Like,
you're
like,
definitely-
so smile, like he messages
They're all there. Once you're done, once you get through all the options, then just look at the price and start counting.
No,
So
I
when you
wasn't
finish out the
I
bill.
don't think you want my mom.
Yeah, she's not nearly as crazy as
I know
mine.
you like the rest of the And what's here's one for you. I mean, it'd be better than the other.
Chase, I would take Angie and
See, I
No,
wanna see that one.
Until you get it.
yeah, until you actually get the number.
Who is? What? Wait, I thought it was in the. Charles City? Charles City has like a
Oh.
2-hour drive. He has a dog. They don't even have a place to keep that dog. You can't have dogs in those apartments.
What's the one?
Yes.
Stupid. They have a dog.
That'd be something.
And they're
The
living like.
top of cars, thank you.
Okay, so this one says SX2 Golden SRT.
Remember Frank's
It's 15, but scroll
that they gave
all the
him?
way down.
Yeah, because cats are different than dogs. Dogs are like.
You got a person build.
Yeah. And they're gonna keep that in Steven's
Cats are
yard
nice.
until it's like,
Her computer
yeah,
froze.
Steven leaves laying around.
Her computer
for
froze,
3 days.
so-
Yeah.
Weird.
Fred, you know, the apartment's like,
So you use
just
mine
didn't
now.
have it. Can you have pets?
With your Dodge, this is like Tetris stuff.
Like
What's
dogs?
the back?
Oh, I can't wait, just I.
Like my mom says even.
Oh, wait.
11 people.
They don't, they don't think about this, like they can afford a dog right now, they're not ever gonna be able to afford dog food, so they use all their money on stupid things.
Mom. Oh my god.
Once you price and build, they're gonna show you like the 17 versions of the Challenger. Demon's at the bottom. Just scroll.
Okay, Mr. Ward. No. They can't, if they're not, if they can't handle it, they'll really get it. They won't admit that they can't handle it, though, they'll just let the guys
Control.
talk. And as soon as I see that, I'm
Why would you ever buy a dog in here?
They're gonna.
Yeah,
they're
you're
gonna-
sick. Oh, you're never.
Yep. Click next. Scroll down.
Just have to bring
I
it
got it.
Exactly.
I don't know why they consider it interior, but
Is
okay.
it SOT
And they were
super
gonna
crap?
sit with us all night.
Is it
Because
SOT
if it's our
super
food,
crap?
I'm starting to irritate me.
SRT,
If we can do what we want, I'll be
you got a
push
person
them out
build.
for gas, so we
Mhm.
can run and go back.
You go back.
You picked the wrong one. Go back, look back.
I'll get us $20 for whatever. I'll get us food.
Pick the Challenger, and then you go, now that you're on the Challenger,
They
scroll all the
are-
way down, there should be.
It's really not Piper so much, it's Zane. He is such a compulsive liar, he lies about everything.
Yes.
No, the Piper would go on like
Five,
lies too.
yeah, then you go to 60
To
boom.
be like,
Thank
no, that's not how it is, that's not how it was. And he'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, you did not unpick any back in the regular, but now you were like, don't try to fix it.
Have some more chips.
And then it's just wrong, and I'm like, just wrong, but, I have a whole other thing inside the house where I'm like,
Chips or chips?
tell me about the shit, so I'm like, I'll get money from someone in the school before we don't get any, so we not go on that, they just do gossip about it. We don't have a place to go to.
That's why I was thinking about it, I was thinking about it.
Have you gotten the sunroof?
It's in the interior.
My target.
Yeah.
Did this say?
And the 97,116.
Yeah. That's about right. That's an expensive.
I wasn't even listening, I was just
I
listening.
say.
You randomly just
I mean,
stare
that
at
one
you
you
with
got-
nano anything that you're.
That
saying.
car will be worth money someday.
I didn't even know.
Like, I know it's a lot, that car, that
No,
one
literally,
car
I
on their
just
whole
use that
website is
for
worth
how
more than
serious
what it is now.
I'll just like stare at them and I should be able to understand.
They're only making aluminum on it, it's like the highest spec you can get.
So like a Monte Carlo, like a Van Hot Tornado, how much would that be?
Those lost value. For a while there after her passed, they were worth quite a bit. Now they're up to I think you can get them probably for about $5 to
My
$50.
sister gave me like that.
I think I got wrapped up in his.
And when she pulls things go up my favorite,
I thought you did
she
that.
always comes in music really loud and she forgets.
I didn't know.
I'm like, Haley, it's gonna go.
No, we'll be cooking and like, we'll have an ingredient up over the table and I'm just like, this is good.
Mr. Warren.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, I can tell how much tempted it is.
Should go over on that.
It's the one seat.
I honestly thought it was a shirt.